Alright guys, I'm sitting outside on our little balcony here in Panama, where we've rented an Airbnb because we've dropped our van off at the port. Customs has control of it, and in 2 days it should be arriving in Cartagena, Colombia, and in 2 days we should be flying to Cartagena, Colombia to get our van and start touring around South America. I just got a very, very bad email from our shipping agent. Our ship is delayed at least 8 days, possibly more, which means we have no van. Our Airbnb reservation is almost up. This is bad. Our van is sitting over there in the port. I gotta go tell Curt, guys. Curt, you didn't buy those plane tickets yet, did you?
No.
We just got a horrible email from Martin.
What?
I mean, like, we're delayed.
What?
Shipping is delayed at least 8 days.
What's that mean?
I don't know. Our ship is not. We're stuck here in Panama. We don't. I don't know what it means, Curt. I don't know what it means, but we're not flying to Colombia in 2 days. That's for sure.
Oh, so that means our van is just gonna sit there
In customs, sitting out there in the wide open. All right, so we have that link where we can track our ship. I'm gonna pull that up. Our ship is sitting still in the Galveston port.
It's still in Galveston?
It's still in Galveston. We can look at its previous track. For the past 5 days, it's been sitting in the port at Galveston, so something's wrong. Tomorrow.
We have to leave. We have to move out of the apartment.
Tomorrow. Okay, so we have to find a new Airbnb.
We are our temporary import pass. I think we might be good on that though, because our van might technically be checked out of Panama.
I will send Martin another email and get that confirmed.
And then, but we're good on our passports.
We're good on us. We have 36 more days before we have to worry.
So the cats.
The cats. I think we may have to do that government, all that paperwork again. I don't know. We have to call the vet.
This thing was already so expensive. This is totally
it's another
blowing our budget up.
This is adding at least $1,000 to $1,500 depending on what we have to pay at the vet.
At least.
So we've kind of come to terms with what's going on. The initial shock has wore off a little bit. We've got some emails out to kind of see what's going on and what we need to do. We've wrapped our head around the fact that we're stuck here in Panama. And while we're waiting, we've decided we're staying down here in this cool little part of this touristy section of Panama City. We're gonna show it to you. So today we're venturing out for a walk. We're gonna hit a few of the local restaurants over the next couple of days. You guys are gonna get to learn all about Casco Viejo.
All right, guys, so we're out here taking a walk, and this is a historic little town, and we come up on this little museum. I think it's ruins of an old church, so we're gonna go in here and see if we can check this place out. So one thing about this little neighborhood, it's definitely turned into a different place on the weekend than it was during the week. During the week, it was sort of busy, but you could tell it's business. A lot of government workers in here for the embassy, and also the president of Panama lives out here, not too far, a couple blocks away. So there's a lot of those government workers and city workers in here during the week. But the weekend, the tourists take over, and this place comes alive.
Down here in this neighborhood, which is one of the nicest places to visit and stay in Panama, you have a serious mix of new, renovated, and just flat out old and run down. But I would imagine in a few years, most of these old buildings will be remodeled, kind of like that one right there. And I think they're doing a fairly good job of maintaining a historical looking presence on the buildings that are redone. Just to give you kind of a reference, if you turn left, right where that white car is, our apartment is about 100 feet down that alley. And it's one of these old buildings that's been remodeled. How's it look, Curt?
Good, interesting, kind of weird. I haven't processed it all.
I think it's Hawaiian.
Oh,
Mahalo.
is that what it is? Okay. A lot of bowls, a lot of wraps, desserts, tostados. Where are we at?
We're at a little place called Mahalo Snack Shop. Gonna get some lunch.
What'd you get, Snow?
A roasted vegetarian sandwich. Eggplant, roasted red peppers, lots of goodies on there. What'd you get?
I got the chicken with goat cheese and bacon and sauce panini. So, I'm digging in, as are you. Well, how was it?
Mine was really, really, really good. Maybe the best lunch we've had in like a month.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty, flavorful.
It was a good place.
Yeah. Now, for more exploring.
Yep. All right, guys, we've strolled around this little city quite a bit, and we're gonna try to break it up into spurts, the strolling, so I don't mess up my knee. So we did one little corner of town today, had a nice lunch. We walked through this fun little market. If we didn't live in a van, I'm sure I would have bought tons of stuff. And if shipping was easy, there's some really cute little girl dresses that I would have sent home to one of our old neighbor's kids, because she got a baby on the way. But shipping's too hard, so no fancy dress coming, guys. Anyway, let's head back to the apartment. It's the heat of the day. We'll take another stroll this evening and try to find a rooftop bar. So guys, I don't know if y'all can see those market party lights up there on that roof, but that's actually the roof right next door to our Airbnb. So our Airbnb's got a pretty sweet location.
Yeah, that's where the hot tub is. That's where we're hanging out last night. And we have some cool views of the city from there.
Yeah, we do. But tonight, we're out seeing what the city looks like on a Saturday night. Now we're old folks, so we won't make it till the wee hours, but hopefully we can watch this little city start to crank up, because it is supposed to be a Panamanian hot spot.
We'll see.
Yeah, we tried to find a rooftop bar. The one we went to first was closed. Now we have to let my knees rest because it's a lot of stairs, guys. But maybe we'll make it to another one tonight. If not, we'll make it to one before we leave here. In the meantime, 2 rums and Diet Coke for a Saturday night on the way to the table.
What is it?
It's a giant unicycle. Alright guys, I was so scared to try another rooftop bar because of the stairs. This one's fancy. may be stuck here in Panama while our ship is still in the United States to move our van. But doesn't mean we can't try to get out and about, have a little bit of fun. We are in a really cool city. So we're gonna see how these scooters work out. I know Curt rode them today, but we're fixing to ride them to a restaurant here in town that everyone says we should go to. So let's go check it out.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now. Let's move closer to a new history, find out what we can be together.
All right, so we've come to this restaurant, Lo Que Hay, and everyone has told us to come here. And it's got it's almost like a fusion twist on some food. So I'm getting an American dish with a Panamanian twist. What are you getting, Curt?
I'm getting the fried chicken, mashed potatoes, something fresh, and buffalo sauce. It's supposed to be one of their specialties. And this place is supposed to be like one of the top restaurants in all of Panama.
Yeah.
All right, give me your first thoughts.
I am so excited to eat this pork sandwich. It is not a pork sandwich like back in the States, so I feel all right about the order. And I got some coconut rice.
And I got the traditional fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and a little salad here, they tell me. And then this is buffalo sauce. And of course, we got a little bottle of rum. Yeah. So we're good to go.
Dig in. So good.
So this chicken has a super, super crunchy shell. It's like got salt, pepper, Parmesan, garlic, I don't know. But it's super flavorful and crunchy on the outside and moist on the inside. This stuff is good.
Choose right from wrong. We found the strength to go on together. To go on together. To go on together.
Yeah.
Morning, guys. We are still in Panama City, still without the van. But today I'm gonna go for a walk. We're in this little Costco district down here. It's the historic district of Panama. It's actually a pretty cool little place. And we're missing the van, but I wanted to get out a little bit and see what's going on. And right now, we're gonna head north and get off this peninsula and explore the city a little bit. Now, as we step out of the little peninsula, you can see here we have a beautiful view of the downtown skyline. So this road takes us more into sort of real Panama, more like a Chinatown, if you will, area. This is sort of like where the regular people of Panama live and shop. And as I suspected, this is the area that's more considered Chinatown. Now, if I'm being honest, this area right here, this Santa Ana area, Santa Ana, is more kind of an area that I like to kind of explore and stroll around. Now, it's a little bit dirtier than the area that we were just in, for sure. but it just has more character. You can smell the bakeries cooking, people are selling stuff out in the streets. It's definitely cheaper in terms of price for food and items, and really you're kind of more around the regular people in the working neighborhoods. I'm sure statistically it's probably not quite as safe, but I feel very safe, very secure here. I've noticed a lot of police and whatnot in the neighborhoods, families, normal people. So sometimes you just can't let that stuff get in your head and bother you, because this place is actually pretty cool. Mercado de Mariscos. So we are arriving here at the seafood market. So head up here, see if we can cross the street and see what we can find. We're gonna follow the heron right here. He seems to be a smart bird. I don't know if little people give him little tidbits on the way out or what, but he seems to have found the right place. So it definitely smells fishy in here. $6 a pound, wow. Now out here behind the market, you can see where the fishermen come in and drop off their seafood. So you've got all these fishing boats with the skyline as the backdrop. Pretty cool setting. So I don't know if they're still fishing these boats right here. You can see the Pelican up on the corner. It kind of looks like the floating dock. The boats actually have some trees growing into them. Although I will say the boats around the outside that are tied up to them look like they're still functional. Just a contrast to the big modern city. Chinatown kind of over here in the corner and the rest. And then where we're staying out here on the peninsula, you can see how nice that is. We're just on the other side of that big giant clock tower sticking up there. But Panama City has turned out to be a really super cool place. A lot of character and a lot of charm to this. I kind of complain that it's the most American city that we've been to in Central America. And that has its good sides and its downsides. You know, it's always kind of nice to be back around areas where things are familiar and you recognize how things are set up and structured. So that's kind of nice, but we always miss sort of the culture and sort of the authenticness of the other countries when we get into a place that's been Americanized. And I gotta tell you, this is a hodgepodge and a mix. And it goes right up there on my list of really cool cities to visit, if that's what you're into.
You guys may remember that a month or so ago, I gave myself a haircut, which I'm sure I did horribly wrong, but it bought some time. And I think there's a place that Mike can cut my hair here. It's only like 3 blocks from our Airbnb. So I'm gonna walk down there and see if I can get a real haircut. All right guys, I have walked around 5 or 6 blocks. Couldn't find the place where Google Maps said it was. Finally, after paying a local a couple of dollars to help me, and then him not helping me find it. And then, stumbling around a little bit more, I finally found it based on some pictures. And it's closed. It is no longer there. And I can't find anywhere else down here to get a haircut. So, I'm gonna go back to the apartment. But before I get back to the Airbnb, here's some old ruins. Now Panama City is the oldest, or this part of Panama City, this little old town area. It's the oldest European city in Central America. And it was thriving back in its day. But then it got plummeted by pirates and they burned most of it down. And I'm in some of the ruins that actually survived that.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, had to reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way.
All right, guys. Van is not on the dash. But today is moving day. Snow's got everything packed up. But why are we moving, Snow?
Well, you guys know the ship was delayed, and we had only booked this place through today, and someone's moving in here today, so we have to move. But we got a little bit of luck. We only have to move across the hall. But then, that little bit of good luck got squashed, because we got news this morning that our ship is still sitting in the Galveston port. So that adds 3 more days to our delay. And I looked to see if we could extend the stay across the hall. Nope, someone's booked it right behind us. So we're gonna have to move again in like 4 or 5 days. All right, we're pretty much settled in. Still need to put a few things away. The room looks very similar, the nice big windows. Curt on the bed. What's really weird about this one is the kitchen is about the same size, but we have a small refrigerator again. But look at this bathroom. It's as big as our van. We could literally live in this bathroom. But we won't, because the ship is gonna set sail soon. So, right, Curt?
I ain't living in no bathroom.
So with all these extensions, that means we have to find another place to stay. We've decided we don't want to stay in the same place. So we're trying out different places. I'm looking at a couple today, but this is Hostel Salina. Now you might remember that we really liked that hostel on the beach. But this one right here is in sort of downtown of this historic area. So it's definitely on our list. Now, we're considering moving out of this little historic district into the city district. So I'm gonna have a little walk down in that direction. There's no place that I know that we've picked out other than what we've looked at previous. So I'm not gonna go look at any apartments, but I'm just kinda gonna go walk down and look at that little area.
All right, guys, that day out was so necessary, but I'm anxious about the
van, so let's see if Snow's got an update here. Any updates, Snow?
Some. So it is that the ship is getting repairs done. That's why it's been stuck in the port for so long. The shipper told Martin, who is our shipping agent, that they hope to have the repairs done today, if not in the morning. And then the ship should be sailing. So that's hopefully good news. And then the other thing that was up in the air is if we were going to have storage fees at the port, or if we had to change ships, or with the long delay, or there are going to be other customs things. Boris wrote and said that there will be no shipping fees, no port charges, nothing happens, and he feels like the van should be somewhat safe there in the port.
So does that mean that we can, after this expires, we don't need to move, we can go on to Cartagena?
I feel like we could go on to Cartagena with the very, very, very like 0.001% chance that if something went horribly wrong, you would have to fly back and meet up with Boris.
All right, well, I
think it's good news. It's not what we want to hear. The ship is still in the United States and Texas at the port, but everything else it could be worse.
So, my walk around looking for apartments today might have been all for none.
Let's hope it was all for none.
It was good for my mental health.
Yes, good. and if they don't get the ship repaired in the next few days, we do have to move out of here in 3 days. So I don't think we feel comfortable leaving Panama until the ship is sailing again. So
there you go, guys.
that's where we're at.
We're moving forward, but more uncertainty is still in our future.
Still stuck in Panama. We are up to a 13-day delay on our shipping. We had hoped to have an answer for you guys before we ended this video. Doesn't look like we're going to. So with that, you're gonna have to wait just like we are, because we're gonna see you guys in a few days, and hopefully we'll have some good news. Cheers.